Welcome back, guys. This is ESL One Genting South American Closed Qualifiers Finals between Infamous versus SG Esports. And game number one was some of the most ridiculous Dota I think I've seen in quite a while. Apparently, Lifestealer is the new Rat King of Dota. Him and Shadow Shaman, as Infamous managed to win the game against an incredibly farmed Dusa by just avoiding fights completely and just going for those objectives. I'm your caster Moxie. I'm joined with the wonderful Forge. Who knows what we're going to see in this next game, Forge, but all I know is I'm so excited to watch it and be a part.
I mean, I can bet you I know at least one thing we're going to see in this game, Moxie, and that's going to be Lifestealer gets banned.
I don't know. I'm not sure that's necessarily something that needs to be done. I think they just need to keep a closer eye on him. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm still just like, I'm bamboozled after that last match that actually worked out. I'm still replaying, and I'm sure they are too on the side of SG. Tiny just running around, chasing after Lifestealer, getting really close to bursting him down, but just not having enough damage, and then ending up, getting shackled by Shaman, getting, hexed, and then chased around his own Ancient as these wards just slam away at it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to let Lifestealer through or Juggernaut through, somebody that has that, I think that the adjustment they're going to make is get somebody that can stun through BKB, because there were so many instances where they almost had the Lifestealer and then he would just rage TP out and there was nothing they could do. So if SG are going to make any adjustments in letting those cores through, I think that's going to be it. But really nicely played from Infamous getting that win.
If I'm SG right now, I'm so upset. Oh, that was such a farmed Medusa, and that was a great comeback from that Tiny. Tiny was suffering pretty hardly in his lane early on. Puck, of course, constantly poking and prodding at him. He was behind on CS. He came back. He was doing really well. He was helping to burst down heroes. And then to lose that way, oof. Harsh. That's some feels bad, man, right there.
Yeah, that was, I mean, just really nice kiting and really objective-based mindset from Infamous. SG spent a lot of time running around trying to get kills, trying to shut down the cores. We saw Tiny with the Blink Dagger and the Shadow Blade running around trying to catch up by getting kills, but Deuce was the only one really just hard farming, and I think that led to the problem that we saw where Infamous was just able to kite them around the map and let Lifestealer do whatever he wanted, and anytime that Lifestealer did get ganked, he would just rage TP out and they couldn't burst him.
Well, you know what? Enough about game number one. This is a fresh, new game. This is game number two. And, let's see what SG can do here. They start off with a very strong opening. They pick up that Omni Knight, who, despite nerfs, is still very, very strong. And, it's a nice opening. Infamous gonna go right for that Shadow Shaman again, which I'm sure is triggering a little bit for the side of SG. But, again, very solid lockdown. Solid, pushing potential with those wards. I'm sure they're going to be keeping one heck of an eye on that team.
Yeah, solid ratting potential as well, apparently. But no, all jokes aside, really strong open from SG. Omni Knight did get banned out in game one, so with it slipping through, they're just going to snag it up for themselves. Brewmaster, I think, did a lot of work and was able to get a lot done, but at the end of the day, Laposa just couldn't find the initiations he needed. He never ended up feeling comfortable grabbing the Blink Dagger because they were just bursting him down constantly. He bought all of these survivability items. He got the Aeon disc, he got the Vlad, because he was just trying to stay alive and get his ultimate off. So now with the Omni Knight, he's going to feel a lot safer with his presence both in lane and moving into the team fights. Repel, Guardian Angel, always powerful no matter who you throw it on. But Clockwork is going to be the answer for Infamous. A little bit of BKB Pearson stun there.
Well, I'm wondering, too, if they think about putting him up against the Omni Knight. If Omni Knight goes into that offlane, having Clockwork just constantly popping those cogs and trying to burn his mana so he can't actually repel or heal bomb or whatnot might be a very nice play coming out from Infamous. We'll see, though, if that's necessarily what they want to do. But a little bit of open drafting here coming out from Infamous. They could always run clock as 4. They could run him as a 3 as well. Looks like the side of SG still kind of taking their time thinking about what they would like. We see that the Night Stalker, Shadow Demon, Razor have both all been banned, rather. So that's that vision game and putting extra pressure on the map early on when Night Stalker gets his 4. Razor's very, very strong right now, being able to sap away any sort of damage away from the physical cores, and he's just a very versatile laner on top of that. And Shadow Demon, if you pair him up with the right carry, is just going to chew through all of your base and your towers. But we do see the Witch Doctor picked up on the side of SG. That gives them some nice team fight, good physical damage as well.
Yeah, a lot of sustain. A lot of sustain coming out from the side of SG. They've got Omni Knight, they've got the Voodoo Restoration, so without some heavy burst damage coming out from Infamous, I think it's going to be really hard to kill any of the cores on the side of SG, especially if they go for something like that Kunkka again. We saw them run that yesterday where they had the Witch Doctor, Omni, and the Kunkka. Just insane amounts of sustain and the rum buff on top. Very difficult to burst down any of the cores on their team, so wouldn't be surprised to see that either get picked up or banned here against Infamous.
It's going to be another Enigma ban, as in game number 1. Seeing some nice buffs to that hero and the Eidolons, and we know that Infamous does have a pretty good success rate recently with that hero. But the Tusk actually getting banned out on the side of Infamous, that's something that they actually used in game number 1. That seemed to work out very, very nicely for them. That snowball just bought them a lot of time, had them chasing him around the map, making space, and in some occasions actually managed to save some of the cores, so...
I mean, it's really scary when you have an Omni Knight on the enemy team because you can just snowball in immediately into the repel, and then you've got the shards block plus the degen aura. Makes it very difficult for anybody to get away. And of course, there's always the snowball save out of cogs as well. If you have something nearby that you can roll to, you can roll through the cogs, pick up your teammate on the way out, and just leave Clockwork stuck alone in his own creation. So a decent counterplay potential there from the Tusk, and pretty sensible ban from Infamous.
No Arc Warden. They do not want to get cheesed out by that hero. That is one of those heroes that I still don't think even the pros know exactly where to put. But when he's starting to get going, especially in mid, he can be a huge problem. They go for the Viper on Infamous. So again, a lot of early aggression coming out from this team. Something they really like to do. I think Infamous actually ran a Viper against Team Bernita. And they ran it with like a Nature's Prophet and a Drow, so I wouldn't be totally surprised if we see something like a Drow coming out from the side of Infamous, especially because they have grabbed that Clockwork, who's really, really good at countering the ones that like to sit very far back. But
yeah, a lot of prioritization coming out for the laning phase from both of these teams. I mean, you've got Viper, who's very difficult to bully out of lane. The same with the Omni Knight. Witch Doctor, very annoying in lane. You've got the cast bouncing around. Maledict is a very strong laning spell that makes her trading harass very effective. And there's going to be the Kunkka pickup from SG, like I mentioned. So it's going to be really, really hard for Infamous to get solid kills because you've got
they didn't really care about kills in game number 1, to be really fair.
You're not wrong, but Viper plays
29 to 13, and they still took the Ancient, and they just avoided fighting at all in that last game.
You're not wrong, but Viper plays a bit of a different game.
There it is. I knew it. I knew it. There's the Drow Ranger.
All right, you win this one, Moxie.
I think I've won quite a few of them in the last couple of days, to be completely honest, Forge. But I'm not one to gloat. All right. No, but this is, again, Infamous. They love this early aggression. This is what we've been seeing from them all tournament. They've picked up Drow several times now. The Viper, they've got the pushing potential with the Shadow Shaman, and they just need one other hero. They could grab something like a Puck if they want to put that into the off lane. That's still available to them. We saw them pick up a Nature's Prophet at one point as well, just constantly being able to split push and putting a lot of physical damage over onto people during laning phase with those trees. It's a lot of options here for Infamous.
Yeah, it really depends if they want to throw the Clockwork into the 3 or the 4. I mean, if this is the Stinger Clockwork, then they could still pick up something for Schofield, like the Earthshaker or the Earth Spirit, roam around, cause some chaos, mess up the Kunkka combos. Would not be a bad pickup. Or if they want to run the Schofield on the Clockwork instead, they could grab something like the Sand King still, or that puck you had mentioned.
I mean, Puck does so much extra damage with that Drow aura. Likes to go hand in hand. They do. Okay, see, I'm not crazy about this Tinker pickup. I've seen the other teams pick up Tinker against Infamous Drow strat, and it just doesn't work because they just shut him down so hard. He's unable to come back fast enough. And a lot of the times, too, we've seen... I'm trying to remember, too, because we've covered so many games in the last couple days. We saw that one of the teams had a Brewmaster that just jumped on Tinker every single time, took him out of the fight early. They weren't able to hold that high ground with March because he was down for the count. I'm a little nervous about this. They're going to really have to protect this Tinker and let him get online. But they can still get that Nature's Prophet, and I think we might be seeing that coming out from Infamous next.
Yeah, Tinker into Clockwork 2 is one of the scariest matchups that a Tinker can have because Battery Assault makes Rearm pretty much useless, and you've got the Rocket Flare and the Hook Shot for scouting and finding him in the trees, so it is a pretty ballsy pickup from SG, not just because, like you mentioned, Infamous are pretty comfortable dealing with it, but because Clockwork is just so good at dealing with the Tinker. They're really, really going to have to babysit him and help him ensure his early game goes well, which they do have the supports for. They've got the Witch Doctor, they've got the Kunkka. They can get that early babysitting, but man, even once that's done, it's going to be very scary for 40R on that Tinker.
They pick up a Lycan on the side of SG. I feel like I can feel this Nature's Prophet coming. I don't know. They have no way to really deal with the Nature's Prophet if that's the case.
Yeah, they don't have the best catch aside from like the Kunkka. I mean, Prophet could be pretty good here. Like you said, it synergizes nicely with the push strat, and Infamous have definitely been comfortable running it. And look at that, Moxie.
I called it. Called it. Oh, I'm on a roll today.
I mean,
so humble about it.
I basically don't even need to be here. What do you need me as an analyst for? You already know what's coming.
There it is, though. That's the solution. Whenever they grab a Tinker against Infamous and they're doing a draft strat, they just get themselves a Nature's Prophet. Oh boy, this is some scary stuff. I've seen this draft almost like run almost exactly the same before. It's going to be very difficult for SG. They're going to have to really, really, really focus on winning those lanes again. And I hate to say it, but it could come down to, again, Rat Dota. Just a Nature's Prophet just zip zapping. Well, not zip zapping because that's obviously Storm Spirit, but just pop it up in their base and just start taking down buildings.
Yeah, I think SG was hoping to grab the Drow for themselves because this is what they ran yesterday against Sacred with that basically this exact same lineup minus the Tinker, but you had the Omni Knight, Witch Doctor, Kunkka, and then they grabbed the Drow for themselves. So Infamous snagging that up first, which is why SG, I think, grabbed the Tinker so they could think a little bit more about what they wanted for that carry for Costabile. Lycan does give them still some really good tower push, which is something that before that pick they were lacking, and also some really good gap close against the Drow Rangers. So while the laning stage is going to be scary, Drow does have some problems to deal with. You've got the X marks to deal with, no great way to stop that, and the Lycan is going to be able to run her down if he gets the opportunity. So
you got to keep in mind, Kotaru is just going to spam those frost arrows constantly.
Oh yeah,
that's what he's done in every single game that we've seen so far.
Oh yeah, Leposa is going to have a terrible game. Leposa is going to just hate his life as an Omni Knight.
All right, just gonna switch over the names here, guys. Give me 1 second.
Are we going to see any early smokes? It doesn't look like it. We've got Boots on the Nature's Prophet for now, so he's gonna look to speed in and out, harass out the supports. Shaman, no smoke, no, nothing like that. And Boots on the Clockwork as well. No surprise there. Very, very popular on the Clockwork support because it does mean that you can get the cogs off a little bit easier. And Omni Knight being a little bit ballsy with the amount of regen he's bringing to lane. He's only got the 1 stack of tangos and the salve, so...
He's going to probably struggle against the Strat Ranger then, because the way that they like to play this hero is very, very aggressive, constantly harassing. I don't know if Kunkka's actually going to start off bottom here, and we've seen in the past that he likes to go and cut these waves, which will be pretty helpful because Drow has a bit of a difficult time hitting under tower. But, yeah, they're poking and prodding, so they know that Drow's not here. Clock going to make his way up top. Does have a ward on him, probably going to try to block a camp with that, give himself a little bit of vision, but Viper should be able to get this rune no problemo as the supports go, and they're going to block for their mids here.
Yeah, we're just going to go 2 for 2. No really big surprise there. Both safe laners hiding back. Drow hiding in the trees. And I'm a little bit surprised that we don't see some early aggression. I mean, Infamous has themselves a really good early, like, first blood lineup, but opts to take it easy, just relax, and let the Tinker just suffer. Oh, Witch Doctor gets find out when he's TPing. Is Witch Doctor dead?
It's appearing that way since he's eating his way through the jungle here, trying to buy himself a little bit of time, but Clockwork hot on his tail. That's a nice cask bounce. Is this going to be the first blood? What a debate. What a turnaround.
Man,
oh my goodness.
That was so close. He finds
Bardito over here, man.
He finds the Witch Doctor TPing out and just runs at him with the battery assault. Could have gone for just like a cheeky cogs play where he pushes him back, but tries to get the kill. Almost gets it with the battery assault.
This is some interesting stuff over here. We've got the Shadow Shaman actually doing harassing, getting the last hits, and Drow actually just backing off, doing some body blocks. That's very, very interesting. And yep, this is what I was talking about, Forge. The harass of the frost arrows. Just constantly going to be thrown over at the face of the Omni Knight. They do get a tree over here. They've grabbed the Witch Doctor. We'll body block him with one of these trees. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Nice stun coming in, though. The cask will buy him a little bit more time. Battery assault coming out. Clockwork, he really wants to try to grab this. Can they get the Kunkka instead? Now, it doesn't look like they're going to be quite able to. But look at all the damage that they did. Just 2 heroes with, like, 2 spells.
Yeah,
That's bonkers.
This is one of the kind of issues with grabbing the supports as early as they did. Obviously, you want to leave your cores as late as possible, but by grabbing this really flexible Clockwork, they were able to see, you know, what supports are they going to be up against. They've got the Kunkka, they've got the Witch Doctor. Not supports that are great at clearing out these Treants. I mean, Treants do a lot of damage against supports in the early game, and they've got a fair chunk of health. So, I mean, Witch Doctor's just forced to run away. The Clarity's even going to get canceled by this Treant. Like, these supports are going to have a tough time.
The microing of that Treant was actually just so funny here. Torian comes out, though, over here in the trees, and a nice couple cask bounces. Will bounce twice, trying to buy himself some more time here. Nature's Prophet will be able to maybe get this kill. Now there's just going to be able to beat the Clockwork, getting that last hit over onto the Witch Doctor. So Prophet will fall. That Howl helping out quite a bit as well, and they're going to be feeling pretty satisfied with that. Again, Lycan putting out a lot of damage early on.
Mid lane, though, is where things are not going well for SG, as Tinker is just suffering immensely. 7-3 to the 14-5 of the Viper. Well,
the laser rework, I'm sure, is causing a lot of problems for him.
Yeah, the cooldown on that is actually massive now.
It's not as spammable as it used to be.
Yeah, it used to be just a solid 14 seconds. Now that's only at the level 4. Most Tinkers want to only get like 2 levels in laser. That's where like maximum efficiency used to be for mana cost to blind duration, but now it's I mean, you might have to get more levels in it just to be able to survive longer with this blind. And he's actually dead.
Yeah, there's a jump over into the middle. Be able to get the shackles off, followed up with the battery assault. Although the March doing a decent amount of damage, it's not quite enough. That's a nice TP, though, coming out here from the Omni Knight. Still not going to be enough to save the Tinker, but he at least gets himself his own kill. And it was funny because I was watching him down here against Drow Ranger, and he's already out of basically all of his regen. I think he had a salve on him, which he just popped now. So he's got to be really careful here because, again, the amount of harass coming out with these frost arrows is just massive.
Yeah, and Drow is just completely free-farming. Lycan, though, to Costavil's credit, is keeping up quite nicely. Basically tied for CS, which is pretty impressive. They have forced the Nature's Prophet out of lane, but so too has the Omni Knight been pressured out. Does find himself a regen ring, which is nice. But this is just a tough game for Leposa.
I'm surprised that they haven't tried to devote a little bit more support here in the mid lane to give their Tinker what he needs. Because this is, again, you know, he's struggling quite a bit, but we've seen this happen when Infamous pick up this Viper and they try to grab a Tinker to deal with the heavy push strat coming out. Are they stacking for him, at least? I don't see any stacks.
I think that's what,
they need to be stacking.
I think that's what the Core is going to do right now, is just get those stacks out. Lycan kind of getting gone on a little bit. No, he'll be fine.
Couple nice cask bounces, but it's just the clock poking and prodding. Trying to be annoying, and again, more action coming out as if Tinker's life wasn't difficult enough. Shadow Shaman makes his way around this corner, gets the shackles off. They'll turn around, they'll try to kite him a little bit. They're taking a lot of damage in all this March, though. Do have 3 points in March to try to get a little bit of space away from these guys.
Yeah, he just needs to make himself stacks now and get his supports to stack for him as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, Clockwork maybe gonna find this kill though.
Now there's a shrine up. It's not going to be able to get that. X marks the spot coming out. We'll be able to throw out the cogs. We'll still be caught in cogs here with this Kunkka, and in comes the Lycan. And he's more than happy to help get that kill on Clockwork. Kunkka actually going to be able to clean up himself.
Tinker's just going to farm, but this does leave the Viper pretty much alone in lane. He's going to get a lot of farm. And Lycan having to rotate over and get these kills. Actually, somehow still keeping up with the Drow. Only a few CS behind her. I'm really impressed with Costabil's efficiency. Always making sure the wave is pushing out before.
Oh, Omni Knight. He's trying to be cheeky here, and he's trying to cut the wave. In comes Shadow Shaman. He's trying to cut him off. Knows that it's only a matter of time before that repel comes out, and there's the shackles. That's a very dead Omni Knight. Possibly a very dead Clockwork too here again. Yeah, he's just rolling around here in the jungle. Will retreat to his own cogs, try to make himself a little bit of space, and is just leading them on a merry chase right now. This is definitely some space-making material.
Yeah, even Tinker rotating over, looking to maybe get the laser kill.
I mean, he's tired of being bullied by this Viper, and who could blame him?
And he's gonna get roamed on again.
Yeah, they actually jump behind the tower, and there's Nature's Prophet, there it is. That's why he was so popular early on. There's a nice cast coming out. Viper actually still alive, though. The body block's coming out from Shadow Shaman. He says, yeah, you get away here. They'll still turn around, be able to get the kill over onto the Kunkka, and the Dire actually going to be able to claim this Clockwork, but I don't think he really cares. I think he's pretty happy with his contribution so far this game.
Yeah, and we saw this, like you mentioned yesterday, from Infamous, just the Nature's Prophet. Anytime the Tinker was getting gone on by this Viper, they would just rotate the Prophet in, get that extra damage, and Tinker is just absolutely miserable.
And Drow's out bottom.
For him. Drow
Tinker's had enough of this Viper. He says, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. I don't have stacks to really do right now. I'm just going to go bottom and try to, you know, put some pressure over onto this Drow Ranger. And he's just left. He's left mid. He can't deal with it.
Yeah, there is going to be the one stack of the hard camp over here in the jungle. But other than that, no real big stacks coming out. Maybe looking to take Drows. But
they need to be protecting this Drow Ranger. They need to do a rotation or something like this because, again, they're just all suddenly in the bottom lane for the most part. Omni Knight over here in mid. This is going to have to go and try to get that. Yeah, he will be able to get that. Deny. He's very, very close to it. And now Drow Ranger here in the bot lane throws out the Gust, throws out the Frost Arrow as it's got his eyes up and running over onto this Kunkka. Needs to be careful. There'll be one jump over here from the cast. We'll be able to dodge around the Torrent. This is actually so silly right now. In comes Clockwork. He's got his eyes over on both of these guys. The X marks the spot comes out. In comes the Nature's Prophet. Will actually kind of just block himself in the trees. They find the Tinker though. Tinker cannot afford to have this happen. They're going to lose the Witch Doctor. Drow gets herself a double kill. How the tables have turned. And Kunkka just going to run himself away.
I mean, this is the problem of having a Nature's Prophet on the enemy team. Like, he's always there, securing these kills.
Well, that was like the, what was it, the TI meta of having, you know, so many people always mid, but also having Nature's Prophet. He's just so strong. He's able to show up and perform ganks over into the mid lane whenever you want. That's why we saw him getting banned so much.
Yes, maybe, I mean, I'm not going to say he's making his way back into the meta, but he's definitely...
Well, he is for the side of Infamous, that's for sure. The Infamous meta.
He's a very strong situational pick. I think the Drow enables him a lot in terms of viability. He already has really good base damage, so the Drow on top of that, I mean, he's hitting for almost as hard as the Drow is. Actually, I take that back. She is so farmed. Oh, my lord.
Yeah, she is. She's gotten quite a few kills, and she's gotten a lot of farm.
And they're going to dive this
Witch Doctor's just like, get these creeps off of me. Nature's Prophet, he's come forward. They're going to try to go sneak around here, see if maybe they can find this Witch Doctor. Flare comes out. He's already out. He doesn't want anything to do with this nastiness.
But Tinker is, I mean, he's so far behind right now. He just needs his bots to be able to like rotate around and get these kills, but He's getting very unlucky with his stacks.
Well, therein lies the problem with Tinker right now against this particular strat. They just come online so much faster. They're able to harass him out of lane. It's like we saw in one of Infamous' previous game where they picked up the Tinker. They just weren't able to get him up and running. They weren't able to protect him well enough.
Yeah,
Bit of hammer and clock action going on over here in mid. And they're still pushing really, really hard up here. Look at these wolves. They're trying to chase him around. Trees versus wolves. Who would
wolves
win?
Need no armor, Moxie.
Who would win? One scary wolf or a little plant boy here? Yeah, Witch Doctor just hiding back. They've separated out these trees too because they know that he's looking for that cask bounce.
And
TP coming
network
out.
lead is definitely growing for the side of Infamous. Drow sitting at 5,600, full 2,000 ahead of the Tinker, and I mean Viper slowly catching up with the Lycan as well.
Well, they find the Omni Knight. He's all silenced up. He's going to have to run himself out. Could opt to throw his repel on. Won't bother with it, though. But these machines are just chewing through Drow. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot of priority being placed over onto the Tinker yet again to take him down. It's going to be able to take down this Kunkka, though. The boat's not going to connect. Big heal bomb coming out. Looks like clockwork. He's probably going to fall to just the, the Witch Doctor alone. But one last click coming out here from the Lycan will actually slow him down. Oh, Nature's Prophet. He's going to try to body block him here. He's actually body blocked himself, and with all of these little trees, little Necrobook gonna be able to get that final kill. One more click coming out from Viper will be able to take down the Omni Knight, though, and now the rest of the team, they're still trying to take down Viper. There's just all this nasty toxin left and right. And while all this is going down, I would like to point out the fact that Drow is hitting their bottom tower. Typical Infamous.
Yeah.
They traded in a Lifestealer hitting a tower with a Shadow Shaman for a Drow hitting a tower with a Shadow Shaman.
Bots are online now for Tinker, so he can start to kind of push out these waves, get the space created that they need, but before he gets that Blink Dagger online, still going to be very vulnerable to getting ganked. And I mean, even with that Blink Dagger, there's a Clockwork Hookshot online now. Battery Assault on top of all of that. It's a scary game to be a Tinker, man.
They could be getting jebaited here really, really bad if they keep chasing this Drow. Yeah, Clockwork showing up right around the corner. They found themselves this Witch Doctor here, and he's trapped in cogs. Will get one hit off, mini stun, but not going to be enough to save his life, especially when you've got this Nature's Prophet who just shows up whenever they call him. Get yourself a man like Nature's Prophet. Always returns your calls, always shows up when needed.
I mean, he protect, he attack. I don't have the rest of that.
I don't know what you're going for here, so.
Does not matter. It's Clockwork.
Isn't that a dog meme?
No.
Okay, I have no idea then what you're talking about.
I mean, it's just a meme. Anyway, Nature's Prophet is going to go for the Hand of Midas. So still looking to scale into that late game against the Tinker. Viper heading into... has the drums actually already and is going to go for the Orchid next. They do not want this Tinker doing anything in this game.
No, they can't afford to let him get anything done. I mean... that is, a problem if they start, losing, falling behind, and Tinker's just running around your map, constantly pushing out your waves. Granted, you do have the Nature's Prophet, but it'll be very, very difficult for them to push in as well. In fact, we're going to see Drow now.
She's going to get gone on pretty hard.
Yeah, they do spot her out over here. Looks like Clockwork does grab himself a Kunkka. Might be able to get a kill out of that, but they will lose the Drow Ranger, and looks like Kunkka actually going to be able to make it out. Clockwork will fall.
And this is one of the things that's really nice about SG's draft is they just have so much sustain and damage reduction. The boat coming out there and the Witch Doctor heal on top. He's got 3 points in the heal, so just looking to keep everybody that he can alive. And with the Necrobook online from Lycan now, he's got level 2. He's going to push very, very hard.
Yeah, he was rushing that, and I think that's their own solution to dealing with, the amount of push coming out from the side of Infamous.
The old Kunkka Tinker.
Oh, Clockwork. Clockwork feeling real ballsy here. Going to TP directly in and try to just slow them down a bit while they take the top tower. In comes the Nature's Prophet. He's got his eyes over here on this Witch Doctor. And the hookshot comes through over to just pull them out. They're just creating a diversion, it seems like. Well, all this is happening. Top tower, a lot of damage getting placed. They pop the drums, though. They're going to run themselves away. This Witch Doctor is just everywhere, it feels like. Just whenever you think that your towers are safe, look out. There's a Shadow Shaman there. Meant to say Shadow Shaman. I said Witch Doctor. I just realized that.
It's all right, Moxie. We all knew who you meant. But I mean,
Did we though?
SG's going for some pretty interesting old school meme strat in the sense, like we saw Kunkka there, just sitting in Fountain. If Tinker doesn't feel safe with where he's TPing to, Kunkka will just sit in Fountain, X marks his Tinker, and then Tinker will just go push out the wave, throw out a couple of spells, and then get called right back to base as soon as things hit the fan.
He's gonna have to run himself out. They don't have the X in time to grab him, it looks like. They try to get the torrent, but Viper gonna be able to TP himself away.
There is some pretty nice synergy coming out from the Tinker and the Lycan, though. Anywhere the Lycan is, he can just spawn the Wolves and the Tinker can join. So the potential for a gank to turn into a team fight isn't really as scary for the side of SG, because just like they have the global presence from the Prophet, in a way they kind of have the global presence from the Tinker with those Wolves.
Well, I mean, they're fighting strat with strat, technically, right? Oh, the Clockwork, he jumps in. We'll be able to just give him a little bit of a fright, but immediately now Viper going to have to try to run himself back. He's slowing down quite a bit, but still will be able to grab that Lycan. They protect their tower. Clockwork still just running full tilt over here, looking for Witch Doctor, and the flare is actually going to reveal him. He doesn't have a chance. Drow will just slice through him.
They do get the objective, though. It sucks that they lose the Lycan, but they are able to at least claim towers, which is nice. And Laposa is playing catch-up in the mid while all this is happening. He had a very tough start, so I think this is definitely needed to give him this kind of space.
Tinker now picking up his Blink Dagger, but they're already running into this pit. They want to get this Roshan. Actually going to use the wards as well to help speed this along a little bit, and I think we're going to start seeing some really hardcore pushing coming out from the side of Infamous here. Drow just going to be able to sit back and siege away at these buildings. Just a little too late with those wolves.
Shaman's found himself in Omni Knight. Omni Knight is dead.
Yeah, these little trees are like, yeah, we'll help.
Medallion of Courage actually gets picked up from Clockwork, so a lot of damage can be coming out from these teams.
This little guy is the little engine that could, I swear. He just runs into all these fights, doesn't seem to be terrified at all, just wants to make as much space. I don't know, I'd be terrified to do a hook shot into a Lycan with his wolves, and gosh knows what else waiting in the trees, but this guy, no cares.
I mean, he trusts his team. He's got the, like, Drow just does so much damage right now. Level 14 on her. She's got the extra stats talent, so she's even a little bit tankier than normal. And, I mean, there's just so much damage coming out. We saw the Witch Doctor and the Lycan just absolutely melt to what she has to offer.
I think now comes the part where they've got this Aegis on Drow. They need to get a pick off on Tinker, I think. If they can get the pick off on Tinker and then just let Drow siege away at some of these towers, it's very, very scary for SG. But again, you know, I like this. They've got the wolves keeping tabs on her over here, and they've also got quite a bit of damage coming out with March. That Drow needs to be careful. She does not have a Dragonlance completed yet either, so she can't sit too far back. And because they did the scouting with the wolves, look at them. They're all smoked up. They want to jump over there. They do a scan. They know that there's no one over here on the side, but they don't know that there's a Viper trailing behind her either. So this is a big trap she's about to walk into. X marks the spot coming out. We'll be able to lift her up over into the torrent. They'll follow up with the wolves. There's a lot of bounces. That's just so much hate. Tinker wants to get in on this action too. They pop the Aegis. The Aegis Prophet jumps back in though over onto the side. Nice hook shot coming out from the Clockwork. Aegis is going to come back up here. We will lose Kunkka over here as well. Jumping forward with the boat. Drow trying to make a little bit of space away from this Lycan. They'll turn around, they'll kite him. This is just exactly what they need. The body blocks coming out from the Shaman are just amazing. They're hilarious right now. Turn themselves around. They actually grab the Necro Book. Gonna be able to let this Drow walk away with like 90 hit points.
Man, the Orchid getting done in that fight there was so huge. Tinker was right about to get the laser off onto the Drow that would have probably finished her. And the Orchid comes out very nicely. And man, those body blocks from the Shaman.
The body blocks from Shaman were hilarious. They were so well done. Seeing that this Necro Book was about to jump on Drow as well and using the Shackle, that is a team player right there. That is the support that you want on your side. My goodness. I don't think they expected the Drow to be able to walk away from all of that because they started off looking real strong. They popped the Aegis, but this team, they came to play today, and I love it.
I mean, Infamous is just playing really nicely. They won their laning phase really hard both games. Mid game, I think, went a little rougher for them last game, but this game they are taking their mid game and just owning it. On the side of SG, they do get the Aegis down, which is nice. does mean that the push is going to get delayed for a bit on the side of Infamous, allow them to build up the Tinker a little more. He's going to go for the Aghanim Scepter, which is going to help massively against this Drow Ranger because the laser's going to start bouncing around. The rockets are going to be going everywhere.
It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be the 4th of July. Well, if you're American anyways.
Yeah, we don't have 4th of July.
Sorry, my bad. Whatever your Independence Day is, or the day that you blow up, you know, a lot of gunpowder in the air for a light show.
We got Canada Day for that. We're actually right behind you, funny enough.
Huh. I won't say it. I won't say it. I was about to say something really memey. I'm not going to do it. Clockwork, though, does have an invis room. We'll take a little bit of a bath in the March of the Machines. He's just trying to find this Tinker because they know if they can get this Tinker out of the picture, it's going to make them much easier time to push up into, you know, any sort of towers that they want to take, and also high ground, especially after they've lost this Aegis. There's a lot of people down here, though.
And Viper actually grabs a Blink Dagger, so he's looking to just jump onto either the Lycan or the Tinker and just get that Orchid off, make it completely impossible for them to live.
Oh, Tinker. He's hiding out over here in the trees, but they don't see him. Clockwork, he wants this so bad. Oh, look at this Viper. He actually bought a Blink because he wants to hunt for him.
And the hookshot gets kind of teased out from Clockwork, but opts to just play it safe.
This Tinker is living life on the edge right now. Because they are 100% looking for public enemy number 1.
I'm impressed with how much space Lopos has been able to get, though. Like, he's shown up for a couple of team fights here and there, but for the most part, he's just been able to play very nice recovery farm, push out these waves. He's got his Greaves just about done. I think a little bit later than he would have liked, but the fact that he's able to get them at all is huge.
Top tower goes down in just a couple hits. Already a lot of damage placed on it, but they've got their eyes down on this bottom tower here for the side of SG. They want to take it. Viper's standing nearby here. Will be able to go throw out a little bit of that corrosive goodness, and Tinker going to have to go teleport himself home as Drought just keeps poking and prodding at their towers. They're actually going to just back off completely from this now.
Yeah, I mean, the answer to we got cheesed in the last game with some rat is just have a Tinker who can be everywhere that he wants to be.
Yeah, he's just got to be very careful that this Clockwork doesn't find him.
Clockwork or the Prophet, because Prophet, I think, he's got himself the Shadow Blade. Probably move into the Hex next.
I mean, look at the stuff that they've picked up here. I mean, there's a very specific person in mind that this Viper has picked up the Blink Dagger and the Orchid for. Just saying. Jump forward, though. They've got their eyes over here onto the Viper. They'll actually use the Witch Doctor ultimate to take him down. This is 6 times kill streak taken. And Witch Doctor going to get himself 945 gold. Bit of an altercation going on in mid. Leposa coming forward here. He's got the repel on him. They're going to go ahead, use the Guardian Angel. Oh, Nature's Prophet actually going to get taken down with a mighty heal bomb here. Now Clockwork, he's trying to just make as much chaos as possible. The X marks the spot, comes out. He splits himself away, though. Will bounce off to the creep here. Lots of damage coming out from Tinker, though, and that is something he definitely needed. Now Drow, she's in the danger zone. We'll turn around. Can she get the kill over onto the Kunkka? She almost gets it, but looks like the Shadow Shaman's going to have to be the one who gets it. Gets a ward trap over onto Tinker. He's doing so much damage. If they can get this kill over onto Tinker, it's going to be big, but there's a big heal bomb coming out, and he just needs maybe 1 or 2 more hits. He's going to be able to walk away. Leposa saving his Tinker.
Oh my god, Greaves are OP.
Greaves are amazing on Omni Knight.
Ridiculous. That Tinker got an extra bonus 12 armor and an extra, 15 armor and 12 HP regen because he was just sitting so low, and that's what kept him alive. If Omni Knight doesn't have Greaves there, Tinker dies. That was insane.
Well, the Greaves followed up with the Purification, followed by the Repel. Like, it was so close. That was so scary, actually, for Tinker. And he owes his life to this Omni Knight right now, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to play the dump everything on killing Tinker game, then I think it's perfectly sensible.
That was so close, too. Oh, my gosh.
It makes a lot of sense for SG to say, okay, well, we're going to dump everything into the keep Tinker alive game. And it worked out for them. They got a lot of really big kills.
These games have been anything but normal, it feels like, so far today. I want a full 5 games. This is a lot of fun.
You just want more blood.
Yeah, real. I mean, I'm pretty bloodthirsty when it comes to my games of Dota. I am the IO that shows up and says, all right, guys, we're going to go killing. And they say, what?
Oh, boy, here I go killing again.
Oh, boy, here I go murdering again.
Kunkka moving towards the Force Staff now. Doesn't want his Tinker getting stuck in the cogs. No big surprise there. I think after the Force Staff, I'd be really happy to see him grab something like the Ether Lens. Just be able to catch out that Drow Ranger because she's got the Hurricane Pike now. She's going to be sitting further back. So if you get that extra cast range and can catch her out, pretty nice itemization. But we'll see what he opts for.
Oh, they do spot the Drow Ranger over here. These wolves have been keeping tabs on her a lot. Double damage, though, coming in. They need to be a little bit careful. They do have the Omni Knight, do have Repel as well. I don't know if they want to quite commit to this right now. They know that Nature's Prophet can show up at any time here. Drow casually just going to hit some of these Ancients. Will Force Staff herself forward. Is slowing down a little bit here. Going to try to run herself away from the Lycan, who's just going to take a couple pop shots over here onto the tower. And maybe just walk himself away. He's satisfied with that. God, a little mayhem. There is a Clockwork, though, unfortunately, over here by the Roche Pit. That, oh, man, they're really happy to see. They could really use this kill right now. There's going to be the hook shot drilling into the pit, followed up with the boat. Not going to connect really onto anything. They'll still be able to take down the Omni Knight. They get the kill over onto the Clockwork as well, despite the fact he's trying to get that denial from Santa Roche here. But they'll just actually translate this, turn this around into taking Roshan.
Nice kill.
They know boat's down. Drow's gonna get herself a little bit further away here. I think they've changed their mind. It's about halfway done though. Oof.
It's scary to take Roche when Tinker can just spam out March, right? He can just sit very safely outside the pit, spam out the March, and make it really, like, you're just gonna fall so low. And they don't have the sustain on Infamous that SG does, right? They don't have the Omni Knight. They don't have the Witch Doctor.
They want to go back in.
To get that damage.
They want to go back in. Yeah. Look how fast this Roche is going down. They need to protect themselves. They know that boat's not up. X marks the spot. Going to come out here. Kunkka will be able to keep tabs. A bunch of those rockets coming out. This Roche is sitting so low, but Drow, she's suffering so hard she can't deal with this. She needs a BKB to deal with this Tinker now. Treant coming out though. They find themselves a Tinker. Now they're just look at this race. Look at the haste rate on Nature's Prophet. They want him so badly. We'll finally be able to slow him down. There's too much burst damage. He'll chase. Everyone runs away. Drow gets back into this pitch. She wants us. She knows that her Prophet was trying to make the space, but the Torrent's going to come out. Nice save here from Clockwork. The laser coming out again. Drow, she's in a lot of trouble here. The boat's back up. She's going to try to hide herself over into the corner. Wants to get this last couple hits. Will be forced out of the Roche pit, and this Roche is going to get taken down by Lycan instead now. That is not what they wanted. We'll be able to grab that. He just grabbed the cheeses. The rest of the team on the side of the Radiant just run themselves away. Oh no, and it's not over yet. Clock still trying to make space. Will actually get taken down.
I mean, the Tinker Eggs there was the MVP, just constantly bouncing laser around. Drow couldn't get anything done. She doesn't have the BKB yet.
She needs a BKB now. She 100% needs that BKB now that he's got Ags.
That was really nicely played by SG there to get that kill on the Roche.
They'll translate this into a push. I don't think they really want to go out there. Should probably just defend on the high ground, but I mean, SG, they're making it happen. We've seen Infamous take down other Tinkers before with their Drow strat, and this Tinker is still very, very relevant.
I mean, 40R has played very, very cautiously. You know, as soon as he realizes the lane's not going well, he just retreats to the jungle. He realizes he has to sacrifice the early game in order to stay alive, stay relevant. Gets his boots at a little bit of a delayed time, but after that, gets his core items online, gets the blink, gets the Ags. Now he's going to move in toward the BKB so he can fight safely.
I mean, SG is doing it. It was looking pretty scary early on, but we've seen some really just fantastic play coming out from Omni Knight, being able to save up his cores over here. You know, a lot of, again, I want to put a lot of, you know, not emphasis, but just watching this Clockwork jumping in, trying to make space. In fact, everyone on the side of Infamous seems like, you know, all right, we want to let Drow get this Roche. How do we do it? We'll have Nature's Prophet show up with a haste rune and just literally, like, it was like some Benny Hill stuff here for it. They, like, ran all the way from, like, mid lane down towards the bottom rune spot here, still chasing. While this is going on, Clockwork somehow manages to get himself over here into the dire jungle, and then Drow still trying to run herself into the pit. Like, that was a lot of dedication to try to get that Roche, and she nearly got it. But just not enough damage, unfortunately. And I think the laser also had something to do with that. I think she got lasered by Tinker. So I think we know what's next on the agenda here for Drow.
Yeah, she's got the BKB already queued up. She's ready to go. Tinker's got his own queued up, though. And once Tinker gets that, these team fights are going to get very, very scary for Infamous, because already they've been having kind of issues dealing with him, thanks to the really nice support plate coming out from SG. Witch Doctor has had the Tinkers back a lot, and so too has the Kunkka. So really nice team play coming up from them, identifying the kind of Infamous strat of focusing Tinker and addressing it nicely.
Looks like Viper's trying to get that denial over onto the tower, but a repel double damage Lycan is something you don't really want to go up against here.
And Prophet not really going for any offensive items just yet. He's got the AC, which is kind of like a hybrid, you know, offensive defensive item, but he's got the BKB queued up next. And while this is going to make his team fighting really nice, it's going to make his you know, pick-off potential on the Tinker a lot weaker. And the Clockwork hasn't really been able to find out the Tinker too much. You know, he's gotten a couple of nice cogs on him, but always when the team is there, hasn't really been able to find him into the trees, though he might get his opportunity now.
So is this... We've got the Shaman hanging out in the trees. He's got a Blink Dagger. Is this where he tries to make some moves and force them back with a little help from the Nature's Prophet? Is this where we start seeing the rat come out of the side of Infamous again?
I think this is more where we see him trying to pick off the Tinker. Tinker is the biggest problem. So if you can kill him...
Nature's Prophet, you're about to break a smoke. That's a nice tree immediately coming out here. Gonna buy him some time. Again, the Torrent coming through, but there's just too many heroes here. Heal Bomb comes out, and one more click or so. It's actually gonna be Witch Doctor who takes him down. So that's one less rat that they have to worry about on the side of SG right now. So that's gotta feel pretty good so they can go and push. However, again, Infamous. Look at this Drow Ranger. She's here in the bottom. She's thinking about going for the push, is going to have to wait for the Tinker to go and move out to another lane. But also Shadow Shaman is here as well. He's looking and he wants to probably start making some progress here, some movement. Clockwork constantly searching for him. He's looking. Oh, he knows. He knows that if Drow Ranger tries to push in this wave that there's going to be a Tinker. Oh, this trap. This is some stuff right now. And this is going on, Dave. We'll be able to start hitting that top tower.
They're just playing so carefully, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a very dead Viper, and they'll still try to entice this Tinker. There's the laser coming out. Clockwork, he's waiting. They'll go ahead. They'll use the wards. Drow is hitting like a truck here. And again, this is kind of the base race. Here's the Gus coming out as well. They do spot out over onto the side. That's a lot of things. But again, Clockwork going to jump himself forward. He gets the cogs off, but I don't think he really wants to stand in all of this march. He can't get himself away from these trees here. The Blink will be able to buy himself some time. The BKB as well, saving him quite a bit, and they'll be able to take that. But top lane falls over on the side of the Radiant. The Dark Courier actually going to get killed as well, and they're just racing. This has just become a full-on race to see who can take the base first. You know, this is absolutely crazy. Nature's Prophet goes top. He's also just trying to rat, and he's gonna probably pay for this with his life because the X marks the spot is off over onto him. Bottom lane, though, we still see the rest of the team. Here comes the Drow. She's made the rotation. She needs to be careful because there's a lot of damage coming out from this Lycan. He's all repelled up. He's gonna be forced to run himself out. So the Shadow Shaman, he's found the Lycan. Can they get this kill? That's a nice Guardian Angel coming out from the Omni Knight, and he's gonna buy, again, more time. They're just still hitting these towers, taking these objectives. BKB comes out immediately now from the Nature's Prophet. He's gonna try to get some more clicks. They don't want to let him get this tower at all, and he's just literally sitting away over at this tower as they try to push him off. This Lycan just refuses to die right now. Big hookshot coming out here from the Clockwork. Going to try to burn out some mana, trying to separate them. They will get the Aegis, but he's going to be coming right back up, and everyone is so low on the side of the Radiant right now. Still stuck over into the trees. They get the shackles off. They'll get a lot of silence. We'll be able to take him down. Drow still giving chase now, and she's got her eyes over here onto this Witch Doctor. It's actually going to be the Viper. He'll get the last hit, and the Repel coming out. Laposa, he wants to at least take someone with him, but he's not going to be able to. So during that entire sequence, Forge, there is no more racks here in the bottom of the Dire base. There is one, whoops, my camera's getting a little weird on me. We've got one racks on the top, but they've lost the top here in the Radiant, the middle, and they lost the tower and bottom.
I mean, that's
what in the world? They all have buyback though on the side of Dire, and it looks like they just want to run down immediately.
They have buyback, but they don't have Omni Knight ult, which is, I think, the biggest thing. BKB is going to be up online on the Nature's Prophet pretty soon.
Oh, Clockwork.
Drow has her BKB ready to go. So this is going to be, I think...
Yeah, they need to buy back. They need to buy back right now. All the lanes are getting pushed in. That's the nice thing about having that Nature's Prophet. Tinker, of course, trying to do his best. He'll be able to throw out some of those marches. Does have the BKB. Clockwork constantly going to be looking for him. Hooking and looking, rather. They'll take the shrines, and they'll seem to be okay with just that right now.
They'll back off. Omni Knight actually grabs the eggs so that next base race can go.
Oh, that's so
way.
smart. That's actually so smart.
Yeah. So next time that Guardian Angel is up, if Drow or Prophet are going for some kind of trade, he can stop it. Probably see. I mean, next Roche is going to be the Refresher Shard, so this is going to be super heavily contested. I think less so because. I mean, the Radiant...
Tinker! Clockwork, he's found him! He gets the hook shot over! He's gonna take a bath in a lot of this here, and it looks like Tinker, he's gonna try to find himself out. It looks like Nature's Prophet, he thought about going in, he changed his mind, he's gonna turn himself back in, and it looks like he's gonna be able to get himself out. They don't have any way to cancel out that TP. Now Nature's Prophet, he's gonna have to run for his own life here, and they lose the Clockwork. They need something to cancel that TP and the BKB on Tinker.
I mean, they have an answer, but it's also their initiation. It's the hook shot. Once the BKB comes out, it's done. Either that or they need like a hex on somebody.
They need something to go really, really fast that they've got to queue up. But top lane already, again, the rat is real coming out from the side of Infamous. There's the Guardian Angel Ags that we were talking about. BKB gets popped over here. Looks like they're going to try to just hit this tower right now. And Drow, she gets a couple hits off, realizes that this BKB is about to be out. Will be able to just TP herself away. And now Kunkka's made his way back up top. Again, this rat is just unreal coming out from the side of Infamous. Nature's Prophet's his piece. He's gone. Bye, Felicia. And yeah, that distraction. This has just been a game of distractions coming out from Infamous.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Both teams only have one barracks left. Like, that's it. So Roche is going to get pinged out, but he's not going to be alive for another 3 minutes. It's going to be the long respawn, unfortunately, for Infamous. But I think very fortunately for SG, as they are definitely going to want to wait a few minutes.
Can we talk about the rapier levels of damage coming out of Drow right now?
I mean, she's got a DD. It's not that crazy, Moxie.
She's hitting really, really hard right now.
She's got the DD. It's kind of insane. Not fully insane.
What do you think is fully insane? You crazy Canadians, man. Whew. But anyways, Cheese up and running still over onto Lycan. I think they might want to try to take advantage of knowing that the BKBs are still going to be down on a little bit of a cooldown here. Drow, though, oh, they look for the hook shot. Aren't quite able to get, but they do get the Dire Courier. There were no items on it. Nature's Prophet is just going to TP himself out and be satisfied with that.
Beaver Knight does go down, sadly. Bottom lane is going to be the one lane that I think is going to be prioritized by SG. They're going to need to keep this constantly pushed out, as it's the lane that they haven't taken yet. And mid is actually probably the best lane that Infamous could have left for last, because it's the easiest lane to just march down after a big team fight.
Here. Woods are unsafe, man.
Tinker's closing in on his scythe. He'll have that. He's trying to save for buyback, so that's going to delay it a little bit, but he'll have that within the next few minutes, and that's going to be huge. As long as he can get that scythe off, somebody's dead. Whoever it is just dead.
It's going to be a battle of who can push their BKB button faster, and they do have a nice ward over here. They do see that Drow Ranger is here on the top. They don't see that Clockwork and Shaman standing nearby, though, going to be able to help protect. So... Kunkka, he finds himself a target, though. Looks like Shadow Shaman is in for a lot of trouble here. Yules himself up in the air, trying to buy again a little bit more time. But look at that crit! Oh my word, there was a Shadow Shaman there.
That was really nicely played by Kunkka. He uses the X mark to bait out the Yules, and then just uses the Yules to land the torrent.
Oh my
really nice
word.
Does he have a gem? He does have a gem.
Who?
So they're going to go around and... Kunkka has a gem.
Kunkka has a gem. All right, take away that vision. Drow Ranger, she still wants to just crack into the space. They're looking for the hook shot. There's the Kunkka, though. He shows up right in front of this Drow. Immediately going to get gusted up the signs. The BKB comes out. He's got that ghost. Going to be able to buy himself, again, more time here. Guardian Angel is going to force the Drow to BKB, run herself home. And now Clockwork, he's in a very bad position. Will be able to use the Yules to dodge the X mark. Still is probably dead here as he runs post as fast as he can to get away from all of the stuff. There's a flare trying to cancel out these blinks. Will juke himself around, try to use again, but the force staff coming out here from the Kunkka, they've just... this guy loses the gem as well. Oh no, disaster.
Is that double gem now?
Gems on the deck, and these wolves have been doing so much scouting. They just constantly are keeping an eye on where Drow is, and that's a double damage picked up on her yet again here. And they know that she's making her way towards the base. They do click it out. They're pinging, saying, hey, someone's got to go deal with this. Someone's got to go check this out. They're still keeping eye here. In comes the repelled. Oh, the ultimate coming out from the Witch Doctor. She's not going to be able to get away from this. She's going to go down. 85-second cooldown. Nature's Prophet, he was looking to do anything he could. We'll actually pop the BKB. This rat Dota strat, I don't know. It's starting to unravel, Forge.
I mean, the big problem is that SG has not been able to get the lanes super pushed out yet, so they can't take the objectives. That's the one thing that's been very difficult for them. With this Prophet just constantly TPing around, he's keeping the waves pushed in, so that, I mean, even though they are losing heroes, Infamous is still able to get the objectives damage. They were trying to be cheeky there with the Omni Knight ulti still on cooldown. He's just going to go for the Refresher Orb, and they're going to head into Roche Pit, so he's going to have the Shard on top of that.
Oh, they know. They know. So we're going to see a bit of a battle. At the very least, I think this is a very ballsy Clockwork. I think he's going to try to jump his way in and steal that Aegis if possible. They have to be aware of this. They have to know everyone hanging out around the side of the pit. In fact, Viper going to jump himself forward here using that blink, throws out the Viper Strike, and what just happened? We lose the Nature's Prophet to the Tinker.
Does he have the Hex? No, how did they get him?
I don't know. I was watching everything at that Roche Pit. There are creeps now inside the base. They've pinged out. They really want to go get this bottom. They want to get the Megas over here as well.
Buyback is going to be online in the Prophet soon, as long as he's got the gold for
Drow's going to be up in about 4 seconds as well. So they're definitely, they need to, push them off here. Viper, of course, will go forward. It starts putting out a little bit of harass. Clockwork trying to get himself into some nice positioning over here on the back lines and try to be a little bit sneaky. These Wolves still doing a lot of scouting, giving them the high ground vision. The Repel comes out, though. They've got their eyes over onto this base immediately. The Fort comes out. They'll follow it up with the wards. A big cast getting thrown as well. Looks like Lycan going to be able to run himself away. This Tinker is just doing so much with these laser rockets over here. Clockwork now going to run himself away. Did find himself what he was looking for, but there's going to be the Hex, and Shadow Shaman needs to be careful because the rest of the team, I'm sure, is coming forward looking for him. Nice silence coming out. Again, this laser's just doing too much work. Drow's not able to hit her targets. She hits really hard, but if she can't hit anything, then what's the point? Nature's Prophet, of course, cutting the wave over here.
Is going to force the Tinker and the Kunkka back.
Luckily, the Tinker doesn't really care too much. Kunkka, I don't think they were going for the push at that point any longer, but
no, they're happy forcing out the buyback from the Nature's Prophet. If they get another pick there, then they maybe go for the objectives. But right now, I think they're just trying to kill the Prophet with his buyback still on cooldown. Almost find him too. Roche going to be the objective for Infamous, though. They need this. They need
looks
this.
like Omni Knight is going to check on that pit. Immediately, Nature's Prophet TPing, and they need to be careful. This is a very beautiful boat setup. Yeah, already they pull back. Here's going to be the boat. It's actually going right into that pit, but they still are managed to grab the Aegis over onto the Drow Ranger. BKB gets popped out over onto Viper. They'll turn around. The Repel doing so much work. That laser, though, coming in from the Tinker. It's doing so much. And there's the Hex over here as well. He's trying to get this final kill over onto the Drow Ranger. We'll be able to get the Hex. Oh, they'll pop the Aegis. Witch Doctor. Everything in the kitchen sink getting used over onto this Drow. She's not going to be able to run herself away from this, unfortunately for her. It's going to be the Lycan who gets himself a double kill. Again, they still have the buyback on the Drow Ranger. They've got buyback over onto the Viper, but they're just going to run right down mid here, the side of SG. They see their opening and they're ready to take it.
Tinker has the Hex now. That's why they won that fight so handily. Because Drow couldn't get the BKB off. She's going to have to buy back. And even with that, I mean, there's still a GA online.
Yeah, they need to be very, very careful. The BKB comes out from Josh. He's trying to get as much damage over onto the Tinker. Will be able to pull himself away here using that Repel, using the Glimmer Cape on top of that. And they're just trying to slow it down. There is Megas, though, at this point. There's the Guardian Angel. They'll force the Drow back into the base. The X marks the spot coming out, though. She's just getting burned down here. She needs to get herself back in that base, and she's not going to be able to. No buyback available over on